wish you could be in here and smell what I'm smelling this morning. We are getting our cooking inspiration from Goa province in India, where recipes are known to be packed with flavor. And here to give us a taste is Chef Anjum Anand. Welcome back to your morning.
Thank you for having me.
You were
back on.
inside this time. We had you on the patio last time.
And I was just saying how much the weather's changed in 2 months. Apparently it's going to snow today, and last time it was so hot. We were on the balcony, we were enjoying a barbecue.
But it being cold is the perfect time to introduce a warm dish. You have a Goan chicken and chorizo one-pot dish. One pot is great, easy cleanup.
Exactly. And also, I've never cooked a curry on this show, which I actually think is crazy because I love cooking curries. So we're going to cook a chorizo and chicken curry inspired by Goan flavors. And chorizo, we talked about this a bit earlier, it's a Portuguese sausage and it's full of kind of really lovely spices. And they took it to Goa when they went to India because the Portuguese colonized Goa for about 400 plus years. So the Indians took it and they added their own spicing to it. And it's just a really beautiful, kind of rich flavoured sausage. And you make them in Canada now.
Yes, you do. You can buy it at the grocery store. And it's interesting. I normally use it in Italian dishes. I haven't yet thought of using it with something with curry. So this is going to be incredible.
It really works because it's full of spices anyway. So what we did is we fried a bit of the chorizo to get the lovely oils out. So you have all those paprika, lovely flavours in which you cook the whole stew. So we've cooked some onions, some ginger, some garlic. I've got a couple of green chilies, which I just pierce with a knife. I don't chop them because you never know how spicy your chilies are going to be. And you don't want to get into a dish and you're like, oh, it's so tasty, but I can't eat it.
Right.
So this way, the seeds and the membranes are within and all the heat stays within. And you have the lovely flavours. So in this, dried spices, a bit of cumin, a bit of coriander powder, and a little bit of garam masala.
Oh, this is going to make your house
in they
smell
go.
So good.
I know, it's so delicious. And what a great time of year to cook it. A bit of salt and black pepper, like the forgotten spice, right? Yeah. Black pepper is so delicious. Now, cook out dry spices in a little bit of oil or water, because otherwise they burn really quickly. Get in there with the flour. Not a lot of Indian curries use flour, but this is a Portuguese-inspired stew.
And is this to thicken?
Yeah, so it will thicken it. So Indian curries are always a balance of the sweetness from the onions and the sour element. And the spices add all those lovely layers of flavours.
That is the beauty of the cooking, is the layer of flavours.
Yeah. So when you cook your onions out in a curry, you need to make sure they're really well cooked. So if you think of like a raw onion, and if you just cook the outside so it's nice and brown, but the inside is still raw, you've lost all that flavour. So really take time to cook your onions out really properly.
So do you do it low and slow?
Not always.
Okay.
You know, if you have enough oil in the pan and you just give it a stir every now and then, they start shriveling up, then they brown on the outside, and that's when you sort of get in there. So we'll just get everything in. We've got the chorizo in, we've got chicken thighs in. I have the bone on. If you don't want the bone on, you take it off. In goes the chicken stock. And basically, at this point, you let it simmer and we'll...
And do you cover the meat? Is that as much as you can?
Yes and no. I mean, you can always come back to it and add more water. You can't take it out.
Right.
Last thing before we head off is tamarind. So once that's cooked, go in with the tamarind. The tamarind is the souring element. So you kind of balance it, you taste it. Yeah. You decide, do I need a little bit more, a little bit less? And then season again at the end because chorizo has salt in it and you don't want to over-season too much in the beginning.
Of course. Cover, and how long do you leave it?
Oh, it's about 25 minutes. It just simmers. Also, we haven't done today, but I often add like 2 handfuls of spinach. So greens done,
I love it.
Protein done, everything done, and you end up with a really lovely stew. Now here we've taken the chicken off the bone to make it really easy to eat. You know, in India, we love chicken on the bone and we get in there with our hands.
Yes.
I think food tastes better when you eat with your hands, I've got to be honest.
If you haven't tried it before, this is fantastic.
Well, it's just
warm
really
on the inside.
Yeah, but it's not so spicy. And the thing about Indian curries is they're not like crazy spices all mixed together. There's a harmony and there's a direction. Right? So there's not 100 spices in there. Okay.
We don't have a ton of time left, but I do want to make sure we make this because this looks fantastic.
All right, so let's get started making it and I'll talk us through it. So this is the filling of it's a Goan-inspired filling. Okay. And it's pork with some vinegar and some spices and some heat.
Oh, yeah, that
and
good.
the Goans make these pork pies. It's sort of street food. And it is, again, inspired by the Portuguese. If I start...
Is this a regular dough?
More or less,
Okay.
In
like
Goa,
a pie dough?
Yeah. In Goa, they would actually put sugar in their dough. So when I started developing this recipe, I'm like, OK, I'll try that, but that didn't work for me. So there's a bit of, the sweetness from the onions and all of that is enough. So let's get some milk around the sides.
OK. I'm going to steal that from you.
OK, I might have overfilled, like over-ambitious.
OK.
Love the filling. Taking some of it out. OK, and then you just enclose it, right? Keeping all that filling in. And then you do, it's such a typical kind of maneuver when you take a fork and you just pinch the outsides, right? You can flute it, you can do whatever you want. And so in Goa, these would normally be fried. But because I've used a pie crust, you bake them.
Oh,
so you
delicious.
just brush them with a bit of egg.
Like a grown-up pizza pocket.
But they're so good.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? They are like really yummy street food. They're great if you're like watching the game and you want to do that. They're great for like, it's not the right weather for it, but they're great for picnics. You know, they're so yummy.
Listen, they're great if you have to put your kids in the car and get to drama practice or hockey practice or wherever you're going, right?
True.
And
here we have the finished product.
What do you bake it at?
Oh, God, I think about 200. So what is that? 375, maybe?
Yeah,
we can share.
This is fantastic.
Okay, so you have really, your pie crust is really flaky. And the inside, now, I was going to put a little less spice in it, but apparently you like spice. You like the heat. So are they too spicy?
No, not at all.
Perfect,
We can add a little bit for next time.
Oh, good to know.
And we'll definitely bring you back. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
It's always
Thanks for
a
having
pleasure
me
when
on.
you're here.